Hello. Okay, can you guys hear me? Assuming there's anyone in here. Oh yes, we got a few people already. Sorry, I basically had to just rebuild my whole setup because of a little technical issue. So hello everyone, how's it going? Oh, hello Master Nepter. It's been a little bit. Yes, today we are getting started on our food set. We mostly finished up our first draft of Mistvale last time, so we are getting ready to move on to something new. Been here for Dragon eating all the food in the local restaurant. Yeah, I guess I should have a more appropriate card on here. Every time. There we go. Food. So I went through the Discord and I compiled most of the ideas that we had talked about, at least up until a certain point, and I put them into a document. So there's this little fuzzy area I wanted to try and fix, but I don't know how that's going to go. Is that going to be distracting? There we go. I just have to hold my phone here with its flashlight on the whole time so that that fuzzy area goes away. I guess I have a holder on my ring light. Doesn't quite fit though. Yeah, so sorry I started a little bit late. I had to basically rebuild my whole stream setup because of technical issues, which probably wouldn't happen if I just had a better webcam. So I need to get that at some point. Hello Panfex, hello Mirrodin, hello Nepter, and I think I saw Gunblade in the chat. Yeah, so got a good group so far. So yeah, the purpose of tonight's stream is flavor. All right, Gunblade. Well, you know, feel free to lurk and come and go, of course, as you need. But yeah, tonight we are working on basically the basic concept behind the food set. We know we got a pitch from Cyber 5 with what the set could be. That doesn't mean we have to go with exactly that. So we've been brainstorming ideas, and even if we do go with that, we still need, we need to all agree on a plain name, a set name, a story concept, like what's the basic story, who are the characters, things like that. So we're basically talking all things flavor. And to start with, actually I guess setting would be more appropriate. Here are the setting pitches that we have so far. So the original pitch was like a steampunk floating city that travels over the surface of the plane. Basically, the city is itself sort of wealthy and aristocratic, and they travel, like, their city just sort of floats over the surface of the planet, and they go down, and they get, like, rare ingredients and stuff to bring back up and cook, delicious dishes. So that's the original pitch. That's the one that a lot of people seems like have been working with, and we can definitely go with it. Other ideas is specifically, I mean, you can tack this on to the previous idea if you want, but cooking competition as the basic. I guess this is more of a story pitch, actually. Yeah, I need to delineate these better. So yeah, cooking competition would be more of a story pitch. As like the main thing that's driving the cards and the characters. Eldraine for setting, in my opinion. Lol, we had a lot, and I mean a lot of food there with living gingerbreads. Okay, so you just literally want to do Return to Eldraine. That's definitely an option. That is the original food set. It was really a beloved set, except for some power level issues. So I'm on board with it. I mean, as a concept, I don't know if it'll beat out any of these others for me. Hello, Najugo. How are you doing today? Let's see. There's Food World meets Monster Hunter, which is actually kind of similar to this idea as well, but just more focused on, like, I guess the disparity between society and the beast that it hunts for food. It's less about scavenging like plants and stuff, and it's more about like hunting down rare meats, stuff like that, or just like found in deep caves. We have Asmo Cooking Show. So that's basically exactly what it sounds like. Asmo is hosting basically an interplanar cooking show, but everybody has to locally source their own ingredients. So my idea was Mediterranean trade routes. I wanted to have like something. I really like the floating city idea, but I did want to have an option that's different. So Mediterranean trade routes is like basically based on real world, like the Mediterranean. You know, you had Greece, you had Rome, you had Egypt, you had all these countries that shared a border, and they discovered each other across the pond, or that shared a sea, and they realized they could travel across and like start trading their resources with each other. So we could base it flavorfully on that. Nijuga says there's also a full food world concept. Everything is made of food. That's a good idea too. Panfix says, I came prepared with one mechanic that we could use from another card game called Feed, which gives all creatures played after the spell with Feed on that turn a specified buff. Huh, okay. I imagine it would be worded like Feed +1/+1 counter. Creatures that enter the battlefield until end of turn enter with an additional +1/+1 counter. Excellent. I will put that on the mechanics page. What game is that from? Let's see. Panfix says, an interplanar cooking show could give us plenty of space to make references to existing cards and planes. Yes, it could. And it's a question of if that is what we want to do. I know I have a sheet for decisions. I figure it might actually make sense to track the decisions that we make in the course of designing the set. And the first one that I saw in the Discord was people were talking about whether it should be serious or more unset-y, which serious got more votes. But being interplanar doesn't necessarily mean that it's an unset, but I do feel like it leans that way. Penfex says, Feed is from Collective Card Game, a digital one on Steam. Okay, interesting. Not as much serious as not un. You're right. Wacky. How about wacky versus un? Because you can be wacky without being un, if that's a better way to define it. Okay, well, we'll count Nepter in here. But, yeah, so I'm not saying that Interplanar Cooking Show is intrinsically unset, but it definitely feels like it leans a little bit more that way, so we'll have a bit more work to do if we want to make it not, I guess. So, I guess, with that, does anybody have any more setting pitches that we haven't done yet, or that I haven't listed yet? because I want to get those all done, and then we can vote. I think this is exactly how. Oh, we wanted to keep it on the level of like Battle Bond. Mirrodin says, "This is how I've been envisioning it. It's serious, but the stakes are not life-threatening." Right. So maybe I define that a little bit more. Serious, but the stakes are not, you know, world-ending, life-threatening. Right, I agree with that. And I think that's something, for example, that like superhero movies do a bit too much of. Like, you make a bunch of superhero movies, and in every single one of them, you have to threaten the entire world. Not in every single one, but most of them, it feels like the entire world is at risk of being destroyed. And every time it seems like maybe they just have a small scale stakes here, like Shang-Chi. It felt like for the most part of the movie, the only stakes were the fate of this little village. But then you found out that village housed a... spoilers for Shang-Chi, by the way. Basically a world-destroying nightmare, and kept it contained. So if it was destroyed, so was the world. So I agree. I think it's refreshing to sometimes have smaller stakes, especially when we were just on a world that was a bit darker in nature. The only other world I can think of is something like Battle Chef video game. I don't know what that is. I mean, I assume it sort of is what it sounds like. Nepter says, basically Jason Gatewatch intervention or board local guerrilla. I prefer large steaks cooked medium rare. That's my kind of person. Granted, it also works with the magic setting because one world being in danger is just one of many. That's a good point, Cyber5. It's not like the entire multiverse being in danger, which, like, it kind of was with the Eldrazi, which was actually subverted in Zendikar because they were only threatening the plane of Zendikar until Nissa destroyed the stone, keeping them there at the end, and then they were free to go wherever they wanted. So, no, I mean, that's a good point. But I'd say on our world, it's not the fate of the whole world lying in you know, the story here. We're trying to go with a lighter feel, like Lorwyn. Maybe Lorwyn's not a... Like, Lorwyn was wacky, but then Shadowmoor did bring in more, like, plane-altering stakes to it. So maybe that's not a great example. Even then, the Eldrazi stayed on Zendikar until such a time as... Well... Actually, two of them didn't leave, and then Emrakul only left because Nahiri found a way to summon her elsewhere. So Battle Chef video game would basically be Battle Bond 2.0. I may be misinterpreting what you're saying. Feel free to tell me if I am. Right, they had not finished with Zendikar, and it was a rich source of mana, which is why they chose to lure the Eldrazi there in the first place. So it makes sense that they wouldn't leave just because now they're able to. I was referring to Battle Bond in the terms of story stakes. Got it. Okay. Where it's basically, it's just who wins the game. Got it. Okay, I'll have to take a look at that later. So. I mean, I'm not completely sure that these are all distinct ideas. Some of them are a little mixed. Can you guys even see all that? No, I'll have to shrink Oko. I'll have to shrink a lot. Whoop. All right. So, with all of these options, do we want to take a vote? As the person who pitched Food World meets Monster Hunter, it is very similar to the original steampunk floating world idea. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure. Adventurers going to get rare ingredients and bring them home. Okay, so we can just conflate those. Floating City, Monster Hunter. Gosh, every time. Okay, okay. Okay, looks like I finally got it set up. So, another thing to consider might be how easy it will be to find suitable art for each of these ideas. That's a good point. For like everything is made of food, that may be difficult. But then again, I don't know how big the Candyland fandom is, so maybe it wouldn't be that difficult at all. Do we want to do a normal set layout or do something like special, like a 3-color set? That's a good point. Because yeah, they're sort of like set concept is sort of inextricably linked with the structure of the skeleton. I guess since this is a top-down set, let's vote for the top-down aesthetic, and then we can determine what would be the best mechanical approach for that aesthetic. Does that make sense? All right. So, Gunblade votes for Monster Hunter. Cyber 5 does as well. And I mean, I expect this one to get the most votes because it's the original concept. It's the one that we've mostly been working with. But I did want to consider other options. Let's see. Mars also votes for it. As does Mirrodin. Jugo votes for Mediterranean to be contrary. Yeah, I mean, I pitched the Mediterranean one. I do like the concept, but I did just come up with it just to make sure we had other options. What do I think has merit? Actually, I think all of these ideas have merit. So the question is, what do we want to go with? Okay, Panfex is here, so it probably doesn't matter what I vote for. I think I am going to vote for this as well, though. So, okay, so it seems like resoundingly we want to go with the Floating City Monster Hunter type idea. Yes, they're all good ideas, but yeah, it seems like we're just going to stick with our original. So we'll give that a little green for winning. All right, excellent. So the next decision to make is, what is our story? We've talked about cooking competitions. We've talked about hostage cooking competitions. Like, you know, having a cooking competition under threat of, you know, your king being murdered or something. Really, that's the only pitch that we've come up with, is just various shades of this. So unless anyone else has any other good suggestions, I guess we just go with this. Yeah, what's up, Nijugo? I mean, there's plenty of ways we can go with a cooking competition. Like, what is the prize? Why is it being held? Is it an annual thing? And who's won in previous years? Like, what's the history of it? There's a lot you can do with it. A bunch of monsters combine into a really big monster. Cyber5 says, I was thinking the story could be something like, if the floating city's all about opulence, maybe the natural world below tries to fight back to stop more of their abundance from being taken. Okay, so struggle between the civilized and the natural. If civilized is the right word for it. I think current day that has some negative connotations, but I'm speaking in a more like scientific sense. Mars says that feels kind of Ikoria-y. Definitely. I mean, Ikoria is also kind of Kaijuda meets Monster Hunter. There are different factions of monster hunters in the city, and they normally compete but have to work together to stop the really big monster. Sorry, different factions of monster hunters. I'm not sure if I said that, or if I just said factions of monsters. Okay. Could go full on Monster Hunter, and they are following the path of some elder dragon. So, Monster Hunter factions must unite. Would be Nijugo's idea here. I don't know who has played through Monster Hunter World. I have played just a small amount of Monster Hunter World. I don't know. It was interesting, but I guess I couldn't really get into it. Maybe it just wasn't my style. But I played it with a friend, and that was fun. So I definitely would continue asking if that friend wanted to. But would the floating city be mostly stationary, or would it fly about the plane so the resources could be taken from multiple places? So there's benefits to each. I think the idea that they are traveling around and maybe even aren't in control of where their city flies makes it more exciting, more exotic. Like, where are we going today? And there's like just an entire world open to them instead of one place. Although if they are in one place, they can literally like go down and have like a base camp on the surface where they have farms set up, where they have like organized collection efforts. So there's definitely benefits to each. We could also pull out a Kaladesh-style Overseer versus Resistance-style thing within the Mega City. Okay. City Rebellion. So it's not much of a like story, but one concept that I had for basically like what is the driving force here is maybe the people who live in the city, long ago their city was on the ground. They were just like a small group of humans or whatever race they are, just a small group of people, and they were threatened by the wilds, and were probably about to die, be overcome, be destroyed, and some benevolent god took mercy on them and lifted their city up out of the ground and threw it up into the air, and that's where it stays. But it's probably a white-aligned deity, being protective, so it's also kind of dull. And the only food that it provided in the city was it made it so that this like probably very bland food just kind of grows everywhere, and that's it. And then one day somebody finds their way, like falls to the surface, they find their way back up, and they bring with them some different food. And these people who never realized that there could be anything different to eat, anything with flavor, suddenly realize there's a whole world down there with lots of flavor. And so now they're just going, it's not a cooking competition, but it is still kind of a race to be like, I gotta go find what I can find and learn how to cook dishes and stuff. Mana but bland, yes, basically. Mirrodin says, maybe the citizens of this plane have had to keep an elder dragon fed and complacent for so long, food just naturally became part of their culture. Sure, food is just a part of culture. It doesn't have to be specifically a cooking competition. Could just be that that's something that they care about. Cyber5 says, I know I'm also a fan of the idea of seeing consuming food give you various magical powers like potions. Maybe seeing trying to create the ultimate dish of absolute power. Interesting, food as a magic source. I guess it's not really a story, but like we can build a story around it. Could draw in some Shokugeki no Soma elements. I do not know what that is. But definitely feel free to explain more. Where it's just the thing everybody cares about. Food Wars, the anime. Okay. Oh, cooking competitions are like 1v1 head-to-head cooking competitions are just how conflicts are resolved. That's kind of cool. Food is not magic in Food Wars, but it's literally life or death anyway. Or it could be a life or death duel via cooking competitions. Okay. Cooking dueling. Not magic, except the clothes exploding off of people. Interesting. Sounds a little risque. It doesn't actually happen. Okay. Also, on a slight tangent, I believe we also need to make a fight spell in the set called Knuckle Sandwich. Excellent. I do have a page for card ideas. So, I've listed pretty much everyone that I could pull from the Discord as well. So, we got a lot. I'm trying to stay much more on top of things this set so that we can keep it concise and keep everybody interested and not take forever like Mistvale. Okay, so if we don't have any more ideas for the story pitch, obviously some of these are not like full story pitches, but like the basis of what we can build a story around. So is there anyone that people like more than others? I guess I'll specify this as like a free-for-all cooking competition to distinguish it from cooking dueling. Okay, I think we really want to focus on the food. So I like the ones that do that. Like struggle between civilized and natural. That's a good concept, but I also feel like that's something you can do anywhere. That's something that Kamigawa Neon Dynasty has done, and Ikoria has done, and they've done it lots of times in Magic. So it's a really good concept. I feel like it wouldn't be unique here. So if we could find a way to do it in a unique way, I guess that could work, but I do really like focusing more on specifically the food. Cooking competition to decide the next mayor. Stakes could include becoming mayor, becoming Iron Chef, not having your king killed. FFA kind of leans into the Kaladesh aspect as well with the Inventor's Fair. Yes, it does. Yes. So I don't know if that would be too similar to that. We can. Oh yes, good point, Cyber5. We can definitely blend these as well. For Mistvale, we ended up blending like 3 of our like concepts. I guess it was more like 3 of our settings, but still. Yes, so we can definitely blend these. I guess I didn't put down my idea. Food with taste is brand new. If the setting has the citizens of the city going down to the world below for resources, I would think typical combat would be a requirement. Oh, definitely. Yes. You're right. Okay, yeah, so let's maybe hide these as we went with Steampunk Floating City meets Monster Hunter. Okay, so what is included in this? Travel to world below, scavenging, and potentially combat to secure resources. A delicious blend of 11 ideas. Yeah, fighting monsters for meat, just like in Kingdom of Loathing. You have the hunters who go out and cook stuff, hunters who go out and kill stuff, and cooks who don't appreciate that. Almost want to build a Monster Hunter set now. Do it. Like literally based on the like Monster Hunter, like you build the monsters from the game as magic cards. Okay. So I guess this is okay. These are the 3 that are kind of like actual story arcs on their own. The other parts are just, the other ones are maybe aspects of a society. So I guess these could all just be more like expanding on our description of our floating city like world. Did you see the ideas I put in Discord? Not if they were in the last hour. Let me go take a look. It's probably been done, Gunblade, but it hasn't been done by you. My favorite book series is Stormlight, and I did a set based on that, and as it turns out, I found out it had been done before, but I really disagreed with the direction that some of the people took. So some of the directions that the people took. So I was like, you know what? It's fine. My thing's going to be different anyway. It was a while ago before the food set channel was up. Basically, Asmore leveraged the popularity of her underworld cookbooks to start a cooking show. Yes, we did mention that. And voted. We did end up voting against it. It was. Here we go. Here are all of our concepts. Pretty much everybody just voted for the floating city meets Monster Hunter idea. So. Yep, I definitely yesterday I went and like took all of the ideas that I could from the Discord and tried to write them down in here. So hopefully I didn't miss too much. I might have missed some if they came up yesterday specifically, but it could absolutely be a fun unset. I actually like all of these concepts. They're all solid. All right, so I guess let's decide, what do we want our story to focus on? Shokugeki no Soma plus Monster Hunter set then. Yeah, apparently everybody knows that but me. Yes, so Food Wars meets Monster Hunter. So now we're trying to determine what's the story? What's the driving force behind the set? Obviously, the main thing that people have suggested is just it's a cooking competition. It's kind of a novel idea, hasn't really been done in Magic. So I think it's a strong contender, but we do have some other options too. Of course, some of the multiples of these can be included. So, does anybody have any strong feelings for any of these? Maybe it's a cooking show in the foreground with more of a sinister plot going on in the background, maybe relating to some of our non-food ideas. Want to vote for cooking dueling as long as we are voting. Okay. You could combine food as culture and food with taste is new if you flavor it as food that looks pretty is culture specifically. Because it didn't have taste before, now the ancient curse that removed everyone's sense of taste has worn off. Oh, that's a good reason. Yeah, so my suggestion with that is that in their city, they basically only had manna to eat that basically grew from the ground, but it was flavorless and dull. And for the first time ever, somebody has maybe like they fell off the city and then returned, but with food. So that was the basic concept. But yeah, just like actually like removing everyone's sense of taste would work too. I feel like we need cook-offs regardless of the actual plot. I think I agree with you there, Mars. Absolutely. I'll color it with this light pink if we... if we definitely want it, even if that's not our focus. So would we include the food being magical as well? We could. Loser gets yeeted off the city in underground cooking fight club. Yeah, I guess it would have been better to try and come up with fully formed story concepts before the stream. But that's okay. We can come up with a basic concept and then maybe work on it. Overall, I'd say a mix of the first, second, and sixth ones would be my vote. Okay. Invoke my right to trial by fire. Yeah, honestly, Zid, we talked about this like actually being the the way to resolve disputes, which is kind of awesome. On the other hand, it does mean you can kind of do whatever you want if you're a good cook. But maybe people would hire like good chefs to represent them as their like legal cook. Trial by fire. Ooh, okay, good idea. Trial by fire. Settling disputes with cook-offs. It's a fantastic card. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm loving the free-for-all cooking competition idea. Obviously, there needs to be more to it. You know, like, what are the stakes? You know, what does the winner get? What do the losers get? Is there something more going on in the background? Like the Settle It and Smash advertisements for Smash Brothers? Yes. Guy Fieri's doing his grocery games in a new location. I'm picturing life in the city being fun and carefree. Cooking competitions, food art and sculptures, food duels, etc. Then life on the world below is dangerous. Okay, so yeah, strong. Let's put that as part of our city description. Strong contrast between carefree city and dangerous wilds below. Did you see the art in the channel on Discord? I did not. It's in Mistvale. Got it. Okay. The bean? Oh no. I found it. Okay. Hold on. There we go. It's Magical Guy Fieri. Or at least medieval Guy Fieri. Think this is the mood? Absolutely. That is upsettingly exactly what I picture when I imagine hunters of this world. Okay. All right, I think that free-for-all cooking competition is just a great concept. Not to say that any of these, like, again, we can include any of these. But is there anyone who is opposed to making that the main focus? Because that's sort of what we've been working with. That's what I think is interesting. Like, that's what our worlds can do that other worlds can't do. And it is a full story idea. Well, it's a full story seed. You can have an arc based on a cooking competition. So normal cooking duels happen, but this is the big cooking competition. Yeah, like I would say maybe not all legal processes are handled with cooking dueling, because if you're not a good cook, you're not going to want to agree to that. So maybe it's not a requirement, but people can agree to it. Just like in real life, you can agree to arbitration without going through actual legal federally employed legal people. Disputes in the criminal underworld could be solved by cooking duels. Character concept, an awful cook. Beautiful. Someone who is an awful cook. Character who can make exactly one dish really well but can't cook literally anything else. One dish wonder. Someone who's literally able to burn boiling water. But that dish is like, well, dude, a good mac and cheese is nothing to scoff at. I'm imagining Goblin Chef and it destroys a food token. Beautiful. A good mac and cheese is nothing to scoff at, but it'll never be the best thing you've ever eaten. You may be right. I tell you what, though, I just like food a lot. I have a lot of difficulty ranking foods because I just like food. So they're the main character trying to win this competition. Okay. It's just like Naruto. He's got his one trick. He can shadow clone. And he's the protagonist. And he's not a good ninja otherwise. At least not to start. Yeah, he eventually got more tricks. That's just what he started off as. Okay, story beat. The One Dish Wonders competition keeps getting sabotaged by an unknown actor, and they're trying to find out why. Because they want to win fair and square. So is all of our like obstacles and like story beats and stuff just like reality TV drama where people are like messing with each other and hating on each other? Maybe a tournament story is the play. Tournament story is the play. Turns out someone's trying to sabotage everyone but has no idea how to sabotage someone who literally cannot make this one specific thing badly. Okay, so let's move this up here. Set cut. I like the winner becoming the next mayor or something, and the old mayor is like, no, I want to be mayor forever. So maybe the mayor has hired people to sabotage it. But that's the plain tradition, is that, or the city tradition is that the new mayor is determined by this cooking competition. I should ask too, are there any particular planeswalkers we'd see in this world too? Good question. Well, there is one planeswalker who has a history with food, and that is Oko. I think the cooking competition is a great idea for pitch. I'm curious to get everyone's ideas for what the stakes of the tournament should be. Right. So let's move all these that we want over there. Probably food is just part of culture. Maybe food is a magic source. Hide these. Okay, so then what are the stakes? Ooh, someone's getting banned today. All right. Ugh. Or maybe it's a ceremonial title like King of Fools in Hunchback. Hey, I said ban. Usually automatically deletes their message when I ban them. Guess I'll have to do it manually. I'm not seeing the option for that. Hold on. It's weird. It's literally not letting me remove the comment, but it's probably not a big deal. All right. I'd like the idea of combining the cooking competition with the food being magic. Make the food, eat the food, battle with the magic the food provides. Whoever makes the stronger food wins. The higher the stakes, the more underworld interference you can expect to take place at it. Good point. Does the winner get some kind of legendary tool or ingredient to work with? Ooh. That's kind of a cool idea. Okay, so stakes are becoming mayor. We've talked about getting a legendary cooking tool. Talked about... Yeah, so food is a magic source. Maybe competitions take place in teams. So you have one person who's a cook and one person who's a mage and gets their magical energy from the food, like eats the food, gets the energy, and then duels. Maybe eating the food is the only way to power up the Monster Hunter soldiers who defend the flying city from flying monsters. And the winner gets the official, extremely well-paid job of feeding said soldiers. Gain position, feeding soldiers who use food's magic to protect city. Maybe some kind of ingredient, powerful ingredient. Why not have chef mages, both occupations in one, like they're synonymous in this world? Okay, we could do that. Yeah, I can see that. Sure. Or I guess we don't need the or. Remember, the higher the stakes, the more the underworld interference, the greater. Guess we don't need to see the set file right now. Cool. So then we also want to answer, and the stakes could answer this, why hold the tournament? So what does the person who is running the tournament gain? Or if it's the government running it, what do they gain out of it? So obviously, if it's like this, they gain a new person to feed their soldier, or to feed their soldiers. If it's something else, like just a gift to the winner, it could just be that it's a cultural festival that gives people something fun to do, something to get excited about, and that's really important in any society. Tradition, or seeing what chefs can battle the threats down below. Maybe they need strong soldiers because there's more than one flying city. Ooh. More than one city. That's interesting. Tournament arc between the best chefs from each city. That way each city can be a draft archetype. That's kind of cool, actually. I'll defeat you with the power of friendship and this kitchen knife I've found. But using the kitchen knife in the kitchen, not like as a weapon. Cutting people with the knife is strictly forbidden. Cyber 5 is uncertain about the idea of having multiple floating cities, or at least several. No cut people, only cut monsters. Right. 2 or 3 seems fine. 10, one for each draft archetype seems a bit much. It does. It does indeed. We can definitely rein it in. We could It doesn't have to be one per archetype. We could even focus on like 5 for factions, yeah. Or if we want to do a weird number of factions, we could go 4 or 6 for some reason. Obviously, that creates some difficulties, but we can figure it out. Magic does love 5s. Or they could just be different districts of the same city. Maybe allied color paracity and enemy color paracity. Okay, so we're not that interested in lots of cities. Maybe 2, or just focus on districts. Okay. I can think of more compelling reasons for a cooking duel between 2 cities than I can between districts, especially in a Monster Hunter world. Well, I mean, it depends on how we want to go about it. Like, we've talked about it being a Monster Hunter world, but it's... The point of hunting monsters isn't to hunt monsters, it's to get ingredients. We're focused on the food here. It's possible that the monsters aren't really a great threat to the city. Maybe there aren't even monsters that can get to the city. So we can say that they are, that the people have to defend themselves against the monsters, but we could just say, like, they're literally just going down there because they can and they want ingredients. So maybe the whole competition is just a fun cultural thing. That may not be as compelling storytelling. We can probably find another way to give it some narrative power, but... Or it could be a tale of 2 cities, except they're rivals and fight with food. So, I guess I viewed the Monster Hunter portion of the world as being a means to an end, not as being the focus. But that's just my perspective on it. Other people may feel differently. Okay, so I guess what stakes? I guess it could be city/district victory is a stake. Maybe the villain is summoning flying monsters from below to attack the city, and it's interrupting the competition. The competitors have to team up instead of compete in order to stop them. Vivian, yeah. Yeah, we could make her the antagonist. That might have been a custom set. I'm trying to think. Was she a villain in something? Or was that just a custom set somebody talked about? Because she definitely could be. Okay. I don't know that much about her. I remember that she obviously loves beasts, and Bolus destroyed her homeworld. Got it. Okay. Thinking about it, does the floating city need any kind of fuel source from the surface world in order to stay airborne? That's a good question. Fuel course source. I can spell. Those are in fact her 2 character traits. Okay, cool. So I guess I got it covered then. Yeah, I know somebody was talking about her being a bad guy. So that was probably just a set concept in the Discord or something, because she loves beasts and maybe would potentially fight against civilization for them. Watsy doesn't know how to make a mono green planeswalker that isn't a hunter. I mean, there's also Nissa, who's maybe not a great example of character design, but she's not a hunter, I don't think. Do we know her homeworld? Could her homeworld be one where the world was ravaged by Bolus, except for one city that was lifted to the sky? Interesting. Vivian's homeworld. Could be. I don't know to what extent. I guess I felt like her world was completely destroyed by Bolus, but we could find out. Scala is completely dead. Bolus burned the forest. Okay. Yeah, I'm in... Yeah. We could say this took place before, like took place in the past, but then we're consigning this bright, happy world to be destroyed. It is an option. Hey, Tessa. Yes, food set I do say. We are working on the story concept right now. What is our story going to be? Again, it's a short list of facts. Okay. This is all about a young baguette, princess of all bread. Well, we have definitely talked about making an equipment that is a baguette, because it's just, a day-old baguette or something, or probably a week-old baguette, so it's just gotten really hard and you just use it as a bludgeon. She from Scala gun, she have arc bow, she make ghosts, she hunt, that's it. Huh? I mean, that's a decent start. To be fair, when you can only tell your... this is not the only way they tell their story, but the main way that they tell their story to the players is just through the cards. I mean, that's not a terrible start for a character that hasn't been in many sets. So... Tessa, we were talking about... Yeah, we don't have a protagonist yet, but we were talking about a cooking competition being maybe the main driving force. She's been in like 5 to 6 sets. M19, M20, War of the Spark, and Ikoria. So 4, I guess. That said, core sets don't tend to be that interesting, so I guess I just don't even really count those, but that's me. Legendary creature with the epithet Queen of Tarts. Queen of Tarts. That's fun. Okay, so Vivian, maybe. Okay, I think that I like the reward. This can definitely be an ancillary reward. But I think I like the reward being something tangible, like a job position or like a physical item. Let's swap these. Maybe an original Planeswalker from Eldraine being a contestant. Original Eldraine character. Planeswalker. The reward is a golden spatula. Riot Games, please don't sue. Yeah, you know, it could be. We'll go with platinum spatula. I also personally am not as on board with the city being in like constant threat of danger. So I would be a little bit more opposed to this one, but again, that's me. If other people feel differently, definitely feel free to tell me so. So I guess I like maybe just a legendary cooking tool. And of course, the honor that comes with that for both you and for your district or city or whatever. Maybe the prize could be some kind of very rare fruit plant. That's cool. Okay. Extremely rare fruit plant. A dark steel spatula. Okay. Power carrot. Stick it in your eyes to see the future. All right. So, is anybody opposed to that? Obviously, there can be. This is just the start. This is the prize for winning. But there can be, I guess, there can be more stakes based on the underworld interference. Why are people interfering? Is there an evil mage summoning monsters to attack the cities? Things like that. Sid says, "I feel like that's low-hanging fruit, pun intended." Maybe with said plant being a lot more powerful than the citizens on the city truly believe it to be. I mean, if we want to go really low-hanging fruit. It is a single fruit. The plant produces a single fruit, and eating it makes you a planeswalker. So the culmination of the story is the winner gets to become a planeswalker. That may be a little too on the nose, but let's see. Najugo suggests once every 100 years a magic tree grows a fruit, and that's when the tournament happens. Okay. Tournament happens every so many years when tree in city grows magic fruit. I'm just picturing someone who walked to Eldraine and got their cooking tool blessed by the Iron Crag. Or maybe the plant could actually be the dormant form of a deity-like figure that gave the surface world its bounty. So eating of its fruit gives you some of their godlike powers? Hold on, if fruit makes you a planeswalker, then Phyrexia would 1,000,000,000% be there trying to take it. Yeah, if they can find out about it. I feel like the plant is being advertised as extremely delicious, but is actually a source of extreme power. Plain fruit, and the common people are like, who would compete for just a plain fruit? Not plain fruit, plain the fruit. Maybe some of the characters in the set are trying to win the plant to return the deity to its former glory. Yeah, no, well, I think that just because the Phyrexians would want to be here, that doesn't mean we have to include them. We can say they just don't know about this plane, or this takes place when they're still trapped, or. So we don't have to put them here just because they would want to be here. I would want to be here. This sounds like an awesome place to live, but I don't get to be here. They found out about the reality chip somehow. I haven't read the story, but I'm pretty sure Tezzeret is how. Seems like the planar portal that he put into his arm is what he's been using to send the Praetors around places. So my guess is he did it. Okay, the plant is not a plant. It is an egg. Okay, so maybe you get an extremely rare fruit, and people obviously use that to cook an incredible dish that they get to enjoy. Maybe giving them some godlike powers, because magic comes from like food in this set. But maybe you could do something else with it that would like restore the god of the world. Maybe you could like plant it somewhere specifically instead. And so, yeah, some people are competing to do one thing with the fruit, and some people are competing to do another. Either way, it seems like the fruit plant is really hitting it off. Like, people seem to really be enjoying that. So I think we want to go with that. Come on. Oh, gotcha. Got it. Okay, that's fine. What if the protagonist is some I still think it's not a great idea. Just the fruit thing, and just like the reward being a magical fruit or a rare fruit. Just because it's low-hanging fruit. What if the protagonist is some misplaced royalty? Protagonist wants the power to save their exiled house or something. Okay. Low-hanging ingredient fruit, on the other hand. Well, yeah, obviously there's going to be fruits in the dishes themselves. Well, if you don't like the concept of the reward being a food, Villain steals the fruit and uses it as an ingredient. Okay, what fruit is this now? If it's not reward fruit and it's ingredient fruit, why is it a problem that the villain is stealing it? Is it still like some special magical fruit? Maybe the world below is slowly dying unless the plant is returned. Sorry, which part do you think is overused? The like magical fruit or reward being fruit? Or the reward being magical fruit? I guess I'm a little confused. Magical fruit that everyone wants. Okay. I don't feel like that's a trope I've seen used that often. Dota 2 has enchanted mangoes, but those are commonplace. Oh, right. The whatever fruit that made Luffy all rubbery in One Piece and has different effects on different people. Devil fruit, okay. The fruit is the soul of the world. I can't think of a single IP that uses magical fruit. It's not different effects, it's different fruit. Oh, okay. I saw One Piece like one time 10 years ago, like the first few episodes. I liked the concept a lot, but it felt like they wasted a lot of time, and I just couldn't get into it. Black Panther had a magic fruit as well. The purple soul herb isn't a fruit. Okay. Okay, I guess I'm confused why, if it's an overused trope, then why is it okay to be a magical fruit that needs to be put back? Or else the world below dies. Because the conflict to putting it back would be that people want it. So then it's still a magical fruit that people want. The fruit that everyone wants is the overused part. Okay, but if not everyone wants it, then what's the obstacle to putting it back? Why don't people just put it back if they don't want it? What if no one wants it? The reward is coal. It's something terrible that nobody wants. There's a difference between want for personal use and want for common good. But that just makes me even more confused. Because now you're bringing in the want for the common good, but if the common good is putting it back, then everybody wants it, right? And then it's a magical fruit that everybody wants so that they can put it back for the common good. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be troublesome. I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from. What if no one wants it? No one knows what it does, and like nearly everyone who has had the fruit dies. Protagonists know it can be used to save the world. All other competitors are just a bunch of weirdos. Hence the villain having stolen it, but no one knows who took it, turning it into a MacGuffin rather than a prize. Okay, so it was the prize, but it got stolen, so it's no longer the prize? it was never the prize. Well, then why would the person steal it? I don't understand. Where would this fruit have come from? Why wouldn't they have already put it back where it belongs? Okay. Just a random fruit that the villain takes. Okay. All right, I'm going to go get some more water. Feel free to think on this a little bit more. I feel like we've been stuck on steaks for a while. I think a lot of people are okay with the fruit being the prize, but definitely feel free to articulate any other thoughts on that. So I'll be right back. Hear me out. Okay, every single competitor comes from a different long-lost clan who knows the fruit can be used to save the world. Everyone thinks they are the protagonist. The true protagonist is like a lucky commoner who won a drawing to be a judge. Everyone's the hero in their own story. It's a little wacky. It's not definitely unset. Wacky is kind of what we're going for. Okay. Well, I guess Zid, nobody's saying there has to be a fruit plant. We're trying to come up with an idea for what is the prize. So I guess you've made it clear you don't like the idea of that being the prize for whatever reason, or for whatever reason, like the people would want it. So I mean, we have other options, but I guess at this point we should just make a decision. The other thing that I came up with while I was getting more water is maybe the legendary cooking tool that could be a prize is literally it's made of a rare metal that is like a frying pan made of a rare metal that allows you to cook some food, like maybe a fruit or a specific type of food that generally other metals can't handle for some reason. Maybe it's so acidic that it melts other metals, or maybe it's there's a chemical reaction with other metals that just makes it taste terrible. So maybe just this new cooking tool would basically unlock some nice new ability to cook a new ingredient. So, I don't know. If you win the competition, you get fed to the fruit. So yeah, I guess we got ingredient, tool, or position really are the main things that we're talking as prizes. Ingredient, tool, position. Maybe the secret mana spice that makes food magical is activated by dragonfire. What if the prize was an egg and everyone's like, what can you hatch the egg into? And Proteg just wants to eat the egg. That's kind of funny. Let's put that down as card ideas. Conflict between eating egg and hatching it. I like that idea. Sure, let's vote. Let's put it this way. And into decisions. Okay. I've been trying to combine dragon fruit and a dragon creature all weekend. Artifact creature, dragon fruit, or dragon food. Will be interesting. Okay, Nijuga votes for ingredient. Maybe it's just dragon space fruit, and then you leave it ambiguous whether it's a dragon that's also a fruit, or if it's just a fruit that's shaped like a dragon. Or Zid votes for cooking implement. All right. As does Mars. I'm torn between the two. I like both. I like the idea of a magical fruit being the prize, but I can also see a tool being very exciting as well. I don't know if the fruit has to save the world, but it certainly could. Yeah, so I don't know. It could be, somebody suggested spice that activates the magic in food. So that could be, everybody would need that, though. So maybe it's just a special kind of spice that activates better magic in food would be the prize. I'm more of a fan of the reward being given, having more... I'm more of a fan of the reward generally being given, having more importance than the contestants think it is. Though I like it being more of a plant than just a single fruit. Got it. Okay. Yeah, plant, fruit, we've been maybe using them a little interchangeably. I'm not sure. But, yeah, you might still get a title as well. I think maybe title is... Actually, yeah, title's a given. You'll be, the master chef or the iron chef or the arc chef. That way, if it does produce fruit, you have an unlimited supply of it. Yeah, that makes sense. I think connection to God that raised the city is a neat idea, but I don't need it to save the world. Right. Part of the idea behind this set is we wanted lower overall, lower story stakes. So, needing to save the world is maybe a lot. Also, Mirrodin voted for fruit. Sorry, missed that. Okay. Tessa's voting for fruit, or ingredient rather. I think we can just have a cool food tournament with people trying to get a cool fruit. Honestly, I think egg idea is funny. Maybe the reward is all three. I mean, that's definitely an option. It might muddy the storytelling a little bit. A position that comes with a set of tools and a better access to ingredients. If we end up with a tribal component, we can reprint heirloom blade, but it's a kitchen knife. All right, what does heirloom blade do again? Let's take a look. Sword that gives +3/+1. When a equipped creature dies, you may reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card that shares a creature type with it. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Excellent. Too low stakes might feel too unlike if we're not careful. I mean, I don't think too low stakes will feel bad if we give it the weight that it deserves. Like, this is a tournament between the greatest chefs in the city, and food is something that is revered by this city. We may think it's silly, but like, food is essential to life. I don't think it's that silly for a culture like revering it. Is it silly to have a culture revering it? So it's not, think about it as you're not just getting the tangible reward, you are also getting the title, the glory, and you're proving to yourself that you are in fact a great chef, and you basically have gained the respect of the whole city, which is pretty much your whole world. Could always up the stakes by having contestants be the victims of organized crime as competition goes on. I think that definitely having some interference from shady characters is a must. What did the winner of the Battle Bond tournament receive? That card didn't feel too It wasn't clear. Okay. Yeah, I would be curious to know that too. Maybe the stakes are more social. Maybe it's more character driven. Yeah, I mean, just honestly, the motivation for why anyone would enter this tournament, there are kind of multiple stakes, multiple things that you would receive: the title, the respect, the self-confidence. You could, be telling off your parents who told you you'd never make it as a chef. There are any number of reasons why you might do it, and that can be the story-driven moment. Winner got sponsorship because the tournament was continuous. Winner gets private tutoring from Asmo. So then this would be more of a beginner competition, probably. Not necessarily beginner, but lower level. If they're already master chefs, they don't need tutoring from Asmo, probably. I don't know. After all, she has experience cooking weird things like the Monster Hunter ingredients that are brought up from below. All right. I guess I'll go here with ingredient as well. I'm not sure if Cyber5 ever voted. Okay, Cyber5 said just the reward having more importance than people think it does. What if the prize could be an all-powerful spellbook/cookbook with recipes for every meal ever made on the plane throughout history? It's actually a real good idea. Because everybody has their own secret recipes that they don't want to share because the recipes give them magic power. And so they want to keep their powers to themselves. So then the question is this book magical in that it automatically adopts any recipes that anyone ever invents? Does it also adopt even bad recipes? Because good and bad is, for better or worse, subjective. So even if there's a terrible chef, if they create a recipe, does it go in there? Mirrodin says, I like the idea of a physical prize, but find a spatula too silly. A cookbook is kind of perfect. Maybe some recipes hidden within the pages that might be especially powerful if found. Okay. I think the cookbook is a great idea. So with that, I am willing to change my answer to tool, with the proviso that tool is probably the cookbook. I guess it doesn't have to be, but I like the idea of a magic fruit. I love the idea of a cookbook spell book. Okay, is anyone strongly opposed to the idea of the cookbook? Right, I guess we sort of made ourselves a fourth team here because Zid and Mars may have been voting for Tool as if it is. Okay, both of them say cookbook's okay. Excellent, so we have decided. Specifically, cookbook. That's our winner. Excellent. Tournament arc engage. Excellent. So we've got our stakes, or reward rather. There can be more stakes to what's going on in the set, obviously. We've got our setting. Okay. So, I guess I'm thinking of it. Yes, good idea, Cyber 5. Thinking of it as like the Pokemon Hall of Fame in some ways. Yeah, maybe you also get your like picture and biography added to all previous of those cookbooks. All previous copies of them. All right. So we'll cut that and go with super powerful cookbook is the winner. Maybe it has the recipes of each master chef before it going back millennia. Excellent. Okay. Contains recipes of all previous master chefs. Whatever we end up calling the winners of the tournament. Man, Elden Ring is fun, but sure, cookbook. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Tessa. Excellent. Okay, so we've got our, I guess I should go with reward. Stakes is, because there can be more stakes. Stakes are sort of subjective. But, yeah, okay, I like that a lot. So in that case, What is next that we have to decide on? Characters, maybe? What else did I say? Plane name, set name, characters. Wait, we're adding stakes to the cooking competition? Oh, yeah. Before doing characters, we should decide what colors our protagonist is. Wouldn't it make more sense to make a compelling character and then decide what colors they are based on who they are as a person? True, we could also forego having one protagonist. And then we can let people root for their own favorite contestant. So in that case, we do still need to build out all of the contestants into like full people with their own desires, personalities, recipes. Maybe see what card designs we make and see what characters form from them. Just really sick of having characters that are defined by their colors rather than breaking established molds. OG Kamigawa is still probably my favorite story because white villain and black hero. But if we design a character first, say who are they as a person, what are their ideals, what motivates them, etc., and then we say what colors does that fit in, isn't that really defining them by who they are as a person rather than assigning them a color and then trying to build around that and saying who they are as a person is defined based on their color? Najugo suggested Grom on Discord, so we can do Grom's spaghetti. So Grom could be our like goblin or maybe troll chef character. Kaladesh had an Azorius villain and a red hero. I will say Kaladesh had an Azorius antagonist and a red protagonist. I'm still not willing to call the Gatewatch the heroes in that story. It's a mom orc. Got it. Okay. It was referring to Pia in Hero. I guess I really saw Chandra as more of the protagonist, but fair enough. Definitely need a rat chef. All right, let me put that down on the idea book. Archetype, no. Mechanic, no. Characters. There we go. Okay, rat chef. Grom, who's a mother orc. So cycle of rare legendaries for the contestants and signposts as their signature utensils. Shimatsu the food cloaked. When Shimatsu comes into play, sacrifice any number of ingredient permanents, then create an excess dish token where X is the number of ingredients sacrificed this way. That's beautiful. I love that design. Yeah, Shimatsu's perfect. I don't see why more people don't play him. Okay, yeah, so I guess another good question is, how many contestants? So if we want to keep it simple, we could just do like 5. Or there's, 10 for 10 archetypes. There's the, yes, classic tournament structure is 16. Every card should just be Shimatsu. I'm not sure why they haven't why they didn't reprint that character in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. $16 kind of fits the slots. 10 archetypes, 5 monos, 1 3 color, or yeah, 1 colorless. It kind of does. Or a planeswalker contestant. Right, who could be just whatever. Or an artifact creature. Yeah, we could spread the contestants out across rarities. That could work. Yeah, I think I like the idea of 16. Each contestant should have a team of sous chefs, right? So a protagonist can work with their side character friends the whole set. Yeah, I guess it depends on the scale, you know? How many people are they cooking for? Competition site is our legendary land. Yeah, I'm on board for that. Okay, so 16 contestants. Breakdown would be 5 monocolored, 10 color pairs, and 1 colorless, or, you know, more than 2 colored. Some number of them will be planeswalkers. Like akin to the planeswalker creatures from War, or 5-color white. Oh, gotcha. You're talking about, yeah, the planeswalker, like the supporting cards. I know what you're talking about. Like Vivian's Grizzly, Davriel's Shadow Fugue. Each person had like a signature spell. Or 5-color white. Right. Like they've been doing a lot lately. You can have one legend that is a single color, but they have an activated ability, or something that is all 5 colors. So their color identity is 5-color. 5-color white was referring to contestant 16. Yeah, sorry. All right. Cool. So, in that case, we don't necessarily have to define who all of these people are right now. Obviously, people seem to love Grom already, so we can probably pencil her in as red or black or red-black or whatever color you want her to be. I'm not trying to stereotype orcs. But, excellent. So no one main protagonist. Focus on all 16 contestants and play up the root for your champion idea. Kind of sounds like you're trying to stereotype spaghetti into red. You're right, that's my bad, I'm sorry. Alright, Najuga suggesting red-green orc mom. And everybody's signature card, well, instead of having a friend, everybody's signature card could just be their dish. One of the contestants is a food? A living, breathing food. Wait, so whenever they cook something to be eaten, is that cannibalism? Yeah, we just reprint Ginger Brute, but here Ginger Brute is just the fastest cook. It's not how cannibalism works. I don't know. I don't know. Dude's food. If you're food and you eat food, makes you a cannibal. I don't know. I'm a person, and if I eat a person, that makes me a cannibal. Food is not a species. Oh, didn't you hear? Yeah, no, the new enchantment creature shrines proved that if you're a creature, and your subtype is something like, say, shrine or food, then that means that is also a creature type. So in this case, food is a species, and so you get to you see what I'm saying. So food eats food, it's cannibalism. None of that is how that works. Yeah, all of that I said is sarcasm. Okay. I think everybody here knows that is not how that works. Okay, what is our next question? I mean, we could start coming up with specific characters now if we wanted. We could start coming up with plain name, set name. Draft archetypes. We kind of need to wait on draft archetypes until we have mechanics down. So, because our archetypes will definitely be like based on what our mechanics are. So we can take ideas for mechanics now. I wasn't planning on doing that till next week, so that we have a bit more time to come up with ideas. We do have some ideas, but generic archetype decide now, like white blue tempo, black red aggro. Again, I feel like that's sort of informed by what mechanics we have, because some mechanics may make sense in certain colors, and then those mechanics need to be like they tend to play a particular way. So maybe we assign white blue tempo now, but then we come up with a white blue mechanic that wants you to play more controlling. So I feel like it's sort of an inefficient order to do things. Yeah. Okay, so names, concepts, etc. Okay, so we have about an hour left in our stream. So we want to come up with, at some point, set name, plain name, and I guess we could do world building. Yeah, flavor. Now, often set name and play name are the same thing, especially with like first times worlds. I saw the name De Gloria get thrown around. Was that agreed upon at some point or just suggested? Yeah, so that was the original suggestion when Cyber 5 proposed the set. That was the name that they gave it, was De Gloria. So, that said, that doesn't mean that we have to stick with it. We can make our own suggestions if we want. I came up with one suggestion for a plain name, which is Culdona, which I sort of mixed like culinary with like chicken cordon bleu, cordon bleu, school of cooking, I guess. So that's sort of how I came up with that. It gave it a food feel. So that's my suggestion. I don't know if anybody else has any others. If there's a more improv cooking theme to the competition, then the mechanics would be structured a bit different than a more structured, this round you will make soup format. Plain. Contest of Cuisine. Is that the plain name? Oh, gotcha. That's a subtitle for the set name. Got it. Okay. Oops, I grabbed the wrong word here. Okay. Should go under set name. Right. And each round you can make whatever you want. Theme would also have different mechanics. Right, so you're talking about making mechanics, base mechanics on improving food dishes, or on having specific food rounds. That's a good suggestion. It's like actually like having a food round. Improvising, not improving. Oh, fair enough. Improve. Well, you could do both. Colonists of Culdona. Oh yeah, I guess that's fair. Mars. There's also city name. City name may or may not be the same as the plane name. We could improve food, forget brick counters, we got salt counters. Oh yeah, my opponents get salty every time I counter them. Cyber5 says, I was saying before De Gloria was actually supposed to be the name of the city. Oh, I missed that. Apologies. Okay, anybody else have any name suggestions? We don't have to decide right now if people haven't prepared any. Yeah, I don't think I've seen anybody talk in the Discord about it, so we can definitely wait to decide for sure if we want to. Okay. Jugo says the city name should be more food than the plane name. Which is reasonable. I mean, if you know the origin of this, that makes it more food, I guess, but maybe not because I don't know the origin of this. So, but Mirrodin says the opposite with De Gloria is a great name for a dope floating city. Culdona/Culdonia is a good plain name. De Gloria is kind of like De Glace. Glass. Is that a cooking technique? Deglazing. It's a cooking technique for removing and dissolving browned food residue. De Gloria just sounds like delicious glory. Oh, I was just thinking of Gloria. I have my degree's in Spanish, so if I hear does something, I just think automatically of. That's with a Z. Well, I looked up de glace, and I can't find anything, so except for de glaze. Well, de glace would be French for of glaze, right? Ice, of ice. De glace is the French for ice cream. Okay. Yeah, names are hard. We had a whole stream last time about trying to pick the names, because we want it to be something that everybody likes the feel of. I would very much like someone's signature dish to be ice cream. Right, I didn't actually put down... each person has a signature dish. Grom's spaghetti, ice cream. Okay. Nijugo suggests Itarasuka as the plane name. Or I know some use in Japanese or silent, so it might be Itaraska. I honestly do not know how to tell which ones are silent and which ones aren't. Ooh, should we try to come up with signature dish ideas if we have time? We can. It might be hard to do without knowing better who the characters are. But I guess I'm going to suggest we wait on actually determining the plane, city, and set name, because I think people haven't given it very much thought yet, so I don't want to settle on something. So maybe that's something that we do in the Discord over the next few days, well, until our next session. Mars wants to know the plane's biomes. When ice cream matches the battlefield, cast a copy of Brain Freeze. Beautiful. Yeah, I guess we need to... or at least I've mostly been thinking about the city in the sky, but I guess we kind of want to know what is the surface like? I've mostly been thinking of it as just a lot of forest, but it can't all be forest. So yeah, we definitely want, if you're going down to get ingredients and there's all these different locales where you can get different ingredients, we need to actually design, what does that look like? What are those different biomes? It's literally just Minecraft biomes. This planet is a gosh darn mess. Since they're going to be tied to the archetypes, the contestants probably have different styles and food sources. Monster Hunter World biomes. I guess I'll have to go back and play that game. Tessa, we need to play some more Monster Hunter World, I think. Okay, so let's talk about world building. We should play MH Rise. I don't have MH Rise. I have World because you bought me that one. But okay, so in Gunblade, there's a forest, a desert, a beachfront, and a tundra. Oops, tundra. Yeah, Gunblade, if we play, I would absolutely be okay with you joining us. There's absolutely a mushroom biome. Mushroom. Before I forget, what was the food anime that inspired this stream? I'd like to give it a watch for inspiration. I believe they called it Shigureki no Soma. Spelled, oops, Shigureki. Shokugeki. Okay, I just made stuff up, I guess. Well, that's how I remembered it. Food Wars. Call it Food Wars. I don't know what I was thinking, but I don't watch that much anime, guys. Does it show? Let's see. Oh, they'd already typed it out before I did. Whatever. Okay, so We should have huge seas for giant monsters to be made into seafood. Okay, yeah, giant seas. I was thinking of Shingeki no Kyojin. Excellent. Also a food anime from a certain point of view. Falls off when they up the stakes to close all restaurants in the world. Interesting. Okay, so giant seas. We got forest, definitely. Desert sounds awesome. I guess beachfront is kind of like giant seas. They would definitely have a beach anyway. Like mushroom. Tundra is... yeah. Okay, do we need something mountainous, or does desert cover our red stuff? How about a mine/quarry biome? Okay, that would require somebody to have actually dug it out. So then there would need to be people living on the surface, which is possible. Maybe caves is similar to that without the implication of organized mining. Yeah, great. Okay, same page. I was thinking like grilled eel, but sea serpent. That does sound pretty awesome. Let's give this oops. Biomes. Maybe people used to live on the surface and there's just a quarry from ye old times. I think it's definitely possible that people used to live on the surface. Like, where did the city in the sky come from? Good to have a list of questions. Where did the sky city come from? Salt caves. Makes me think it'd be part black. Yeah, so then at some point we'll need to start figuring out like what food comes from what biome. Like the caves can definitely have salt. Do we bring back the lair subtype? Maybe some ruined cities / civilizations. Ruins. Yeah, I guess the question is what kind of food would you get from that? Or maybe it's just sort of a dead zone, you know, not a lot to be gleaned there because all you've got is a bunch of ruined buildings. Yeah, fields is good. I think a lot of different biomes make sense because we're trying to play up the idea that everything that they bring up is exotic and new and different, and it's not going to be that repetitive if there's just a lot of different stuff to get. Forest has fruits and birds. Ruins could have spices. Could be ruins. Ooh, that insects or something took over? Okay, I could live with that. Desert would have big insect beasts and reptiles. Yep, that makes sense. Cactus, reptiles, insects. Ruins could also like be insects, potentially. Different types, maybe. Or maybe a spreading rot on the surface. That sounds bad. You can't harvest rot for food. I mean, it wouldn't be very good food, but I guess you could. Tundra would have snow, but also like hibernating animals like bears. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say, like, if they don't, like, refrigeration is kind of an advanced technology, right? So ice or snow is probably something worth bringing back as long as you can find a way to keep it cool. So yeah, ice, snow, bears. They do have magic, though. Oh, you're right. You're right. What am I thinking? Tundra would have meaty/fatty animals. Which, if any, have the giant Monster Hunter monsters? Or are all of the wild animals giant and scary? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so I guess what makes the food in the city magical? If it's intrinsic to food on the plane itself, then the food that the animals eat on the surface might also be magical, giving the animals magic powers. So that might be what makes them scary? Forest is most likely to have normal animals. Yeah. Wolves, other normal stuff. Okay. So questions, and then when we answer them, we can put the answer here. Why is the surface dangerous? Dangers. Animals get magic powers from eating food too. But then it wouldn't be a tutu. No, I mean, maybe the food that it eats gives it some, like, claws that have just, like, magical runes etched into them. And then it's just, like, a rune claw bear. And I could see that just being, like, a vanilla tutu for 2. Tutu with fire breathing. Good times. Yeah, obviously aquatic. The seas, just aquatic. Would have sea monsters. We'll go specific stuff like squid, crab, fish. So strong in Elden Ring. Serpents. Fields could have cows / ox. Oxen. Goats. Milk, grain. Beautiful. Maybe stuff like krakens and leviathans too. Yeah, if we're trying to make this surface feel really unknown and other, we definitely want to have, like, a lot of stuff. We don't want to play it too safe with the creature types. Caves could also have animals and minerals. Minerals, bats. What else lives in caves? I mean, wolves. Wolves live in caves, but they also live in forests. Snakes. Insects. Fungus and sapperlings? Yes, definitely. Fungus, mushrooms. salad. Beautiful. So we have signature dishes. Yeah. What if they're DFCs? With follower/dish. So it's like a modal dual face card where you can pick like that chef's dish or like one of that chef's fans. Let's see. Other ideas. Notes. Let's put it in card ideas. MDFCs. Signature dish / not exactly fan, but like assistant. Okay. / assistant. I think I would want to go chef/dish if we do go the MDFC route. Yeah. Mirrodin's saying like the chef themselves is the person on the front, and then their dish is on the back, which I also like. You missed a long debate about fruit and eggs. A little bit. Hey, Mac Moose, how you doing? Tried to make Freg catch on. It didn't. I'm sorry. I don't like the sound. Ugh. Sorry to hear that, Moose. Well, right now we're working on food set. We're brainstorming, kind of building the world. I think it was Gunblade who suggested blood pudding, chocolate coin, and fortune cookies as food tokens with other token subtypes. Yes, I have those in here. So I put down pretty much any idea that somebody posted in the Discord. It's possible I missed some, but I think I got most of them. I guess I did not get Frag. But yes, I do actually kind of really like the idea of doing these. But on the other hand, it's like fortune cookies and chocolate coins in particular are like, feels like really hard to remove from the real world. I don't know, but definitely an option. We could go ahead and add it real quick. Okay, what is that? Just a fried egg? What about a food/shard combo? Yeah, shards are Nico's thing. Yes. They're enchantments with... Okay, so it would have to be an artifact/enchantment. It'd be more interesting if shards had been used more than literally one time. One time so far. We are getting ahead of the curve. They're coming back with a vengeance, and we will be ready with a reference to it all when it comes. So, you never know. They might bring back Nico. Okay, so we got 8 biomes. Seems like a good solid amount. Rock candy. Is that for the food shard idea? Food with broken glass in it. Excuse me, waiter. Waiter, what is this fly doing in my soup? Now, how about just take it back? Sending the food back to the kitchen. No food equipment. It's doing the backstroke. 8 biomes, 16 contestants. Oh, that's a good point. My chef's specialty is fly soup. Yes, Tessa makes you a beautiful bowl of the best soup that you've ever smelled, and then just throws it up in the air. Doesn't really match Magic's love of 5, so we'd probably need like 2 city lands. Yeah, we could add 2 more biomes and have those just be like a cycle of lands. 10-card cycle of dual lands or something. If we wanted. Soup swamps. Soup swamps. Oh, that would be fun for the world that is made of food, which was one of the concepts that we didn't quite go with. If we did, enter the battlefield tapped, and when it enters, make an ingredient. I think that's honestly a great idea, is just making one of those ingredient tokens, assuming that we do end up going with that. There we go. It went to the wrong thing, but point still stands. Oh, gotcha. So you're right. Candy would be an equipment. I see. I understand. Okay. Well. Okay, then how about plateau? And if you eat rock candy, you gain 3 but deal 2 to yourself. Beautiful. Stream. Yeah, I am streaming. Yeah, stream or... Yeah, that makes sense. Flowing water. We need a Badlands. Okay, we can more focus on fish from here rather than from the sea. We already have a tender into plateau. Yeah. Shellfish. Could one of the biomes be the sky? Or would each biome have to have its own distinct flying wildlife? Honestly, sky is a decent choice. It's just not part of the surface. So I'm trying to figure out how that would work. Honestly, sky could work. I guess it doesn't have to be part of the surface. Would jungles and forests be considered different? Oh, we could consider them differently if we wanted to. I don't know that we have to. Most stuff needs a surface to live on. Right. We could say something about there being like other small bits of rock that are floating, maybe remnant magic from when the city was lifted into the sky. And so maybe there's some like birds or other things living up there. Fell the Pheasant reprint. Pheasant. Beautiful. Oh, that's a pheasant. Okay, this card dealt definitely too much damage because I can't see a pheasant having more than 1 toughness. Could do cliffs or something if you want to do like birds and eggs and insects. Anyways, are we going to pick 2 colors for each biome? That makes sense, probably. Now we can do that here together, which may require some finagling because I don't know that this is all going to go perfectly. We may need to like rename the concept behind some, like instead of forest, maybe it is jungle. We should have a biome for, yeah. The 10 original dual lands. Swamp marsh biome. Mushroom tundra fungra. Okay, let's see. Insert probably 2 columns left. And what colors do we want them to be? Let's see. Obviously, the ocean the sea is gonna be blue. I mean, do we want each of the basic lands to be their own biomes? Yeah. So currently, if we do 10 biomes, each one having 2 colors, each biome will need 4 colors. Each color will need 4 biomes. If it's a 10 cycle, each color will only be in 2, correct? Yeah, 4. Okay, yeah, stream is definitely also blue. Yeah, forest is clearly green, desert's clearly red, tundra's white and or blue. Combine plateau and plains. Plateau. You're not helping, but you know what? You're making me laugh. Plateau is white-red. Yeah, kind of like arid mesa. I was thinking it could be like white-blue for sky, because it's in the sky, but that would work. Fields is clearly white. Tundra feels white-green. Okay. Mushroom is green. Excellent. Yeah, probably green-black, right? Is desert definitely red? I don't know if that has to be true. I mean, I think red is the closest color. I think, yeah, the closest color for desert is probably red, and we don't have that many red, so I would say it probably is. Mars says, I was thinking fields could be green-white. That does kind of make sense, doesn't it? Ruins could be white-black. That works. Caves, we were saying was red, and tundra would be white-blue. Okay. I accidentally put blue for plateau. Sorry, Tessa. I'm so sorry. It was meant to be red. So that's all of our white. Red-black for caves. Yeah, that makes sense. Green-black, so we just need a blue-black. So that's either stream or aquatic. I'm guessing aquatic, which makes the stream blue-red. Does it? We already have blue-white and blue-black. So we need blue-green and blue-red. Blue-red, blue-green, red-green. Yeah, so then we can maybe flavor it as more of a jungle if it's green-blue. Megmu says, I think caves work better for blue-red and stream is blue-black. Okay, then what's aquatic? Desert needs a reflavor. Yeah, green's kind of the opposite of a desert, right? So, yeah, because we can change the names of the concepts of the biomes. We don't necessarily have to change all the colors around anymore. If red-green for desert, make it savanna or desert. Okay, so current ones people may have a problem with are stream, caves, desert. I think stream is fine if we call it rapids. Caves is fine. Okay, so desert, yeah, we could go oasis. Red-black could be something like volcanic ash for farming. Yeah, it could be volcanoes. Or like, what's it called? Caldera? Amonkhet red-green is sheltered thicket. Makes sense. So still deserty, but it has some growth. There's also like Hashep Oasis. Clearly desert surrounding a little greeny boy. Aren't volcanic areas way more blue-red in Magic? Just volcanic island? That's a good question, I guess. Active volcano, dormant volcano. Urborg volcano's black-red. Volcanic island is blue-red. Okay, so yeah, land-wise, there's actually equal precedent for black-red as for blue-red. That's just using the word volcano. Also this. Ah, yes. The Blight Step and Sear Step pathway. I guess this one is... Is this what, under the volcano? Or is it just somewhere else entirely? Steps. Oh gosh. Yeah, went down the wrong way again. Okay. Just a different path. Okay. Yeah, it's not clear, but it's cool. I like those lands. They're pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm not sure if we need to call Oasis something a little bit more different, but that's the basic idea, right? It's a... I mean, we could... Maybe we could reconcept it. Anybody got a better idea for red-green? Or is Oasis okay? Basically, they're at a fork or something. Okay. Wasn't sure, because then like you could argue the black part of it isn't the volcano. Red is when you go through the volcano, and black's when you go through something else. But what about valley for red-green? I don't know biomes. Red-green could be jungle. Okay, oasis or maybe valley. We can think on that more. I think otherwise this list is pretty good. I could see jungle as well. Okay. And green-blue could be an archipelago. Okay, so this would be jungle. This would be archipelago. That works for me. All right. Probably should change the food found there. Yeah. If we're less... Okay, so what do you find in a jungle? You can find, obviously, plants. Just remove the cactus. The others can technically stay. True. Head out. See you guys next week. All right. See you later, Najugo. Thanks for hanging out. And then archipelago. I don't know. Guys, I'm going to be honest. I don't know that much about wildlife. I have a very specific set of knowledge. It does not really extend to animals. Some big cats. Thank you, cats. I was trying to think, like, what lives in the freaking jungle? I know I should know this. Yes, big cats. Beautiful. Insects, plants, birds, primates. Definitely, yeah, birds. Okay, cool. Monkeys and big snakes. Jungles are some of the most biodiverse areas of the world. Yeah, that makes sense. Ooh, frogs for food. Yeah. I mean, I guess this is all a list of, like, what kind of food you would get. Psychedelic frogs. Archipelago can be basically anything. Pretty open. Plateau would be, like, larger birds, right? Like eagles would nest on a plateau. Goats, thank you. Maybe dragons. If there's dragons in the world, they might live up here, right? Wyverns. Drakes. Eggs. Bird eggs. Mesa instead of plateau. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of thinking mesa in my head when I'm saying it. Mesa, Jar Jar Binks. Yes, obviously, yeah, arid mesa is a good example of that. A red-white land. Okay, well, we got about 10 minutes left. Is there... I think we have done a great job of, like, doing some world building, some story building, making some important decisions. Is there anything that anybody else wants to cover before we call it a night? Blue Red has Swiftwater Cliffs. Okay, so that's kind of like rapids, combined with cliffs. Well, combined with plateau, maybe. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about at all, doesn't have to do with what we've been talking about right now. You never replied to tell me if we can make Remy from Ratatouille a card. Sorry, I missed that. We actually, yes, looks like that is on the list of possible characters. We're going to call him Lemmy from Ratatouille. Do you want Remy specifically, or do we want Nesme? The Meowscular Chef. I don't know that one. Is that from some weird anime? Is that just a reference to Meowth from Pokemon? Oh, we could talk about Planeswalkers a little bit more. if we wanted to. Oh, it's the chef from Monster Hunter World. Got it. Okay. I vaguely remember this guy. I only played a couple times, and it was a couple years ago. The Palicos. Yes, Tessa, I have played, but we only played a couple times, and it was like 2 summers ago. But we can play more. I will try and make some more time to play games online, because I kind of been wanting to do that anyway. Oh, on that note, I'm going to be busy Thursday. I'm not sure yet if I'll be able to stream Friday instead, or if I kind of just want to go to 1 stream a week anyway. So I guess I'll let you know in the Discord. But my schedule's getting a little bit more full, so maybe 1 stream might be the way to go. But hopefully with a bit more communication and planning, 1 stream a week would be all that we would need to still finish in a reasonable amount of time. I think everyone's assistant could be various pet friends. Okay. Assistants. Assistants for each chef. Pet friends. A phoenix you eat every time it dies. Yes. Being turned into meat. It's a beautiful suggestion, Macmoose. We did a lot of brainstorming on Discord. If we can keep up that energy, we should be good at only once a week. Just let us know. Okay. I think we can keep it up. I just need to make sure that I keep checking in, keeping the energy level high, keep asking people questions, and like asking for card ideas and stuff. A phoenix you need to feed a food to resurrect. Like, your pet bird's dead, but if it smells that Grom spaghetti, oh, it's coming back to life, okay? Just for that dish. Oh, yeah, okay. Food tooken. Phoenixes are just infinite food sources, just ones that burn when you eat it. Oh yeah, all the food is just like inedible, but it is food. Spicy phoenix wings. Inedible for humans. Right. Now that's another question that I should put down on the question sheet. Which sapient races? Obviously, pretty much every world has humans, so we will probably have that, but I doubt we want to have just that. Gotta have that diversity. Can I shoehorn orcs in? They don't get enough love. Well, Grom is supposedly already an orc. Oh, sorry. This is in the way. There we go. Okay. Humans, orcs. I think we already decided we want goblins. Just being like bad chefs. They're one of my favorite tribes, but they really just get replaced with goblins in most sets. Right. Which tribes to focus on? Seems like orcs is something you may want. Catfolk, whether Palicos or a Johnny variant. All right. I like that. Since this set is primarily centered around a well-functioning society, it feels like the set would want a huge variety of races. Yeah, and I'm thinking like maybe the city is the only like civilization left on the plane. Maybe it was basically a remnant of all of the races that used to live on the ground, and so it's just got a little bit of everybody. Lots of types for various cooking styles. Kind of thinking merfolk. How do we feel about that? The only question is, where do they live? I mean, cities got to have water, I guess. So are there just like lakes or even just ponds in the city? Cannibal Zoras who only eat fish. No merfolk, yes, cephalids. Yeah, you know what? We'll make it work. I feel like merfolk makes too much sense. Mars says, I was thinking about cephalids over the weekend. Let me go find some cephalids. Because I know I don't remember them very well. Okay, those are the octopus people from Invasion. It looks like. No merfolk, but clamshell bras that could be equipped by anyone. Oh, okay, that's an option. Cephalid Constable is arguably the best one. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, return up to that many permanents, target permanents that player controls to their owner's hands. Oh, because you just gotcha, mutate onto it, and then it's gonna be able to deal a bunch of damage. It'll have evasion. It's only $7 now. So it looks like it's gone back down, but that one is pretty sweet looking. I will say, I mean, merfolk are already kind of hard to find art for. I feel like cephalids would be even more so, but we can still do it. Oh, it can bounce lands. Okay, yep, that explains it. It's just permanent, huh? What are we thinking for black creatures? Okay, obviously orcs can work there. They don't have to. We could make them red-green, as was suggested. Let's scoot over a little. Okay. Actually, this needs to sort of be its own question. Oops. Races. We went with human, orc, goblin, Leonin, merfolk. How about hominids then? Oh yeah, hominids are much better. Red-green orcs is good because Orcish Lumberjack is best card ever printed. Do we want to make a column next to food so we know what races are in what colors? We can give them their own colors. I don't know that it makes sense to match them up 1-to-1 with the biomes. Column next to food. Yeah. Because they don't actually live in those biomes anymore. Maybe they used to. Whenever Shimatsu deals damage to a player, sacrifice all of that player's food. Shimatsu eats that food and is very happy about it. Okay, so we're thinking red-green orc. Yeah, it's fair. I was just envisioning each race being in 2 colors, but that may not necessarily be true. Yeah, it definitely could be. I mean, I know it's a lot, but we could do 16 races, 1 for each contestant. So that way, they're all different. I don't know if that's too much. We could say some are more common than others. Like, you know, one of the contestants could, I guess, just be an artifact creature, colorless thing. Zid likes that idea a lot. Gunblade says that's too much. "16 races, 1 for each contestant, or too much." So are we going to have an evil gang that hunts down the intelligent species that look like food? Birdman Burger. Ooh. That would be a little dark, but, you know, we do need a little dark on our wacky, lighthearted plane. Slime contestant who only makes pudding. I'm on the fence about it. I guess I just don't know if I love you're the contestant that represents humans. That's fair. It would basically be, yeah, each time it's each race sending their champion, and then it's sort of a racial competition instead of a cooking competition. So yeah, maybe that's not a great idea. But if we do repeat races, we do need a way to differentiate them. Different chefs of same race. Okay, and with that, we are about out of time for tonight, so I'm going to have to call it to a close here. Thank you, everybody, so much for coming by and contributing. Yeah, we could definitely talk about races more in the chat channel. I'll post a basically a summary of tonight and then what we're trying to work on next. Thanks. Yeah, so much for coming, contributing. We got a lot of work done, honestly. We determined the story, the setting, and what it took us a while, but we determined what the stakes are, like what's the reward for winning that competition. We got some like biomes, so like a little bit of world building done, and just like got a lot of ideas down. So yeah, everybody, thank you so much for contributing. I had a good time. I'm really looking forward to building the set. It's looking good so far, and I hope to see you all again on our next stream, whether that be Monday, Thursday, Friday, whenever. I'll let you know. We'll have a slime in the set. I don't know if she'll be a cook that makes pudding, but I'll put it in the card ideas. Slime who makes pudding. All right, have a good night or whenever it is, wherever you are, and I will see you again soon.